Welcome. I see Dr. Rukaya, Sophia, Abdullahi, Hafsat, Amina, of course, our curator, Murtala, Hafiz is also here, Mahmoud, Muhammad, Jibril, welcome. We're about to start. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can
Loud
hear
and
you.
clear.
Okay, good. You're all welcome. Wa alaikum assalam, Dr. Rukaya. You're welcome. Good to have you here too. So hello everyone and Ramadan Mubarak. My name is Amina and it's my pleasure to welcome you all to today's session of the Kanu Hub Soft Skill Series. Today's session is on learning to learn and will be facilitated by Hassan Dantata of the Hub. Hello, can you all respond to my hellos?
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for the response. Okay, curator, can you please manage the waiting room while I take the introductory part? Thank you. So hello everyone again. Ramadan Mubarak, and like I said earlier, my name is Amina and it's my pleasure to welcome you all to today's session on Learning to Learn by Hassan Dantata. Hassan is a 23-year-old entrepreneur, speaker, optical marketing specialist, and a global shaper. He is the founder and CEO of Raven and Maca, a SaaS and optical marketing agency providing cutting-edge digital solutions to the eyewear industry. Hassan is also the head of West African sales at Sloan & Co. Eyewear. He was an elected Manchester Youth Councillor, DMYP 2016 to 18, and member of the Greater Manchester Youth Combined Authority 2017 to 18, representing over 45,000 young people in Manchester on a local, regional, and national stage. During his tenure, he has worked on various campaigns such as the Youth Homelessness Participate EU, Curriculum for Life, Common Unity, Rad Equal, Don't Hate, Educate, and Portrait Youth. Hassan has been a keynote speaker at various high-profile events such as the University of Manchester Black History Month Annual Conference, the Manchester City Council Growth and Strategic Development Conference, and the Manchester Youth Council's Annual Buzz Awards. He was featured in British Fashion Council, British Vogue, 10 Magazine, and GQ after a successful youth fashion and identity campaign in collaboration with Manchester Metropolitan University and Manchester Youth Council. Hassan is a sickle cell survivor and passionate about helping young people realize their full potential and making the world a better place. Join me in welcoming Hassan Dantata, Learning to Learn, Hassan Dantata. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Amina, for that. It doesn't really sound, I mean, you know, when someone is saying all these about you, it's completely like, you're like, oh, that's me. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for that wonderful intro. And thank you to Global Shapers for having me to speak on this topic, which is learning to learn. Before we start anything, let's just do a little icebreaker, which is just a question. For those of you that are fasting, I just want to find out what you had for suhoor today and see if anyone had the same thing as me. So let's go. You can type it in the chat box. And then, yeah, what food did you have? Oh, Cheerios. Wow. Water, only water. Wow. Amina saying she only had water. Wow. So you must be enjoying the fast so far. Oh, Dr. Rukaya has also had water, white rice and stew, tea and cookies. Ah, wow. Dates milk, bread toast and cake. That's a very Dr. Hafiz combination. Wow. Dates and water. The Cheerios is feeling. I can only imagine, and it's only about 12, so you have a very long time to go. I kind of feel sorry for you. Rice and stew plus chill water. Wow. Okay. So far, no one has had the same thing as I did. Pizza and burrata. Wow. That's nice. No one has put yeah, Cheerios. So for me, can anyone guess what I've had? Someone should try and guess what I had. I'll give you a clue. It's a very, very heavy food. No, 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 no. I never have nothing. Talia, full English. No, I had tuo. Yes, I mean, I got it. I had tuo and miyar kuka because seriously, it's going to be a very long day for me. So I just need a lot of energy to function. So that's why I chose to have tuo and also kunun together with water and a lot of water. So that's why I'm still very much alive and active. Usually around this time, I've started to, feel tired already because, I find it quite difficult. But today, I'm very much okay. Okay, so second question is, what was the second question? So if you could have a superpower, what would it be? If you could have a superpower, what would it be? Let's see. I have a plug. Oh, no. This is regarding the old question, right? Flying, invisibility. Wow. Dr. Okai doesn't want to be seen by anyone. Ooh, that's quite cool. Time, time manipulation. Interesting. Reading minds. Ooh, I watched this movie where this I can't remember the name, but this girl had this superpower. Can anyone know what movie I'm talking about? She basically had powers to read a men's mind, and she found it very. In the end, she wanted to give it all up because of the things that go on in people's minds is crazy. um, it's a big problem, actually. But yeah, memorizing at a glance. Cool, nice. All right, so let's get straight to it. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Before I start anything, I'd just like to make a quick disclaimer that I'm not really an expert in this topic whatsoever, and I can think of many people that are a lot more qualified to speak on this issue. So I will not really be doing it any justice if I was to come here and sit down and say, okay, these are the tips. There's dozens of people that have done, a lot of kind of research that are a lot more qualified to speak on this topic than me, yeah, at the moment. So what I will do is just share my experience in the whole learning process, and kind of the things that I've learned across along the way. One of the main one of the main things is that over the past 8 years, I started my journey of learning. Learning, at that time, obviously, I didn't know what I was doing, but I started the journey of learning about 8 years ago from a hospital bed while going through a bone marrow transplant, where I decided to start and open a store, an e-commerce store online from that hospital bed. And since then, it has been a crazy journey, so much. And just so this is not about learning for exams or cramming for exams. This is completely different. This is about learning, self-teaching yourself and learning things that are actually useful, skills that will benefit you and make you grow. So this is the kind of learning when I'm talking about learning. So I started that journey, and so far, within that 8 years, I've been able to teach myself, or rather like independently learn different skills, such as web design, graphic design, post-production, video editing, and a lot of things. And it has been based on, I didn't really go to school to learn any of those things. It has been through the internet, basically, that I've been able to learn those. And also, that's what I'm basically doing in my business now with all those skills that I've learned. So I've seen kind of the benefits of learning things and continuously learning over a period of time and growing through that way. So while doing the research for this, I kind of found an article that summarized everything, and it was by the Harvard Business Review. It basically the article was titled "Learning to Learn," and it has basically everything summarized. It's like it's gone into my head and saw everything and basically wrote that article. So I'm going to be using it as a guide. It talks about having four main things, or having four main qualities to be an effective learner and a good learner. But before I go to that, does anyone know any kind of where the future is going in terms of, like, I mean, obviously a lot of people know that, but in terms of kind of the future of learning and the future of work, does anyone know any scary statistics that they've seen recently, or even before that, they would like to share before I kind of share the two ones that really we should look at before going into this topic? Does anyone have any idea? You can just unmute your mic, or you can raise your hand and I'll unmute you. I don't want this presentation to just be me talking. I'd much rather if we kind of taking over. Wow. Yes, that's a big one. That's a really big one. Anything else? You can just type it as well. You don't have to. Automation. Yep. So a lot of jobs will actually be lost because of automation. I think one of the kind of statistics I've seen earlier was 65% of the children that are currently in school will not be, their jobs don't even exist yet. And this is by the World Economic Forum. And it's quite, scary when you think about how fast things are changing and how fast the world is moving. So obviously it will be silly and it will be very unwise to just stay static and decide you're not going to grow or you're not going to learn, because the world is changing very, very fast and it's evolving too. So that's one of the statistics. And also by 2022, everyone will have, and this is also by the World Economic Forum, everyone will have an extra 101 days to learn. So what does this show you? It shows you that this, what you know now, by 2022, you have to spend more time learning to be able to catch up with the time. And in general, just even if um, the world isn't moving so rapidly or the world isn't changing so fast, learning is something that from 200, 300, back in history, that people that learn are always kind of ahead, because knowledge is power. I have a favorite quote, but I'll say it at the end, to do with learning. So coming to the first kind of point of the article, it says that what you need to be to be an effective learner is you have to have aspirations. You have to have something that you're working towards, and something that's even bigger than yourself in that sense, because that's the thing that will kind of that will make you be interested in learning. People think learning is this kind of binary thing, like motivation, you either have it or you don't. But it's completely not that. And good learners, they find ways to become and raise their aspiration levels, and that's key when it comes to learning. A lot of the time when we're confronted with new learning, the first roadblock is we focus on the negatives, why it wouldn't work, all the obstacles, all the challenges that come with it. And this unconsciously kind of reinforces our lack of aspirations. But, saying like things like, what if this happens? What if this happens? You're automatically putting at the back of your mind something, is something bad is going to happen. So, for example, you're trying to start a business, and there's all these challenges and there's all these steps that you have to overcome, and so you just decide, or you see all those negatives. What you should actually do to become a better learner and to explore more is to have different mindset. And by different mindset, I mean, just shifting what, from the negatives to the positives, and the kind of the rewards. So just put yourself in the shoe that if I do this, if I get this done, if I get this done, this is what the rewards would be. Just vision yourself as completing this, whether it's course, or whether it's business, or building this business to such a big business, and just imagine yourself telling your success story or whatever. That's a very kind of good way and effective way to learn, because you're moving away from the negative of saying or thinking about all the obstacles to thinking about all the benefits and things that will happen when and the future rewards that will happen when once you put in the work and action. And that has it has really been a major kind of role, or has kind of abused kind of that technique in I've used that technique over time to kind of to learn things. Coming from when I decided to start a business on a hospital bed, the only thing I was thinking of, I wasn't thinking of, that there was 50-50 chance that I would survive or I would die. I wasn't thinking of all the, negatives, like how can you even sell anything, how are you going to make it work? Or, I was only thinking about what if what will the rewards be after I've finished, after I've kind of built this kind of store and successful kind of e-commerce store from a hospital bed. So I just put myself in those shoes, and it made everything a lot easier. I thought about the positives. The second kind of major kind of characteristics of people that are effective learners is and it's a huge part of learning too, is self-awareness. So you need to be deeply kind of honest with yourself, with your skills, with your ability, what you're good at, what you're not good at. Be very, very honest with yourself. And sometimes you need people from the outside, to see it. A few weeks ago, after there was a soft skill series here by Osman, and after I was so inspired that after his talk, I went to him, to kind of tell me what kind of personality I was, and all of that. And I've learned so much about myself that I didn't even know before, and it's really been kind of it's been a game changer, because it not only tells you what kind of person you are. I mean, you should know the basics, but on a deeper level, right? It tells you what kind of things motivate you, because unless you actually reflect on those, you just be kind of going freestyling, life, if you like. So, but once you know it, it makes you deal with people better, and it makes you approach things differently, because your internal thoughts are aligned with kind of your external self. So there's no that's contradicting. So it makes learning a lot easier too, because it makes you kind of choose what to learn, because you have that self-awareness. You know what you're good at, you know what you're not good at. It makes learning a lot easier, and most effective. Um, Also, by having that level of self-awareness, you're motivated not just extrinsically by other things or other people, or the outside environment. You're actually motivated intrinsically. So that means you're a lot more kind of you don't need any you're a lot less affected by kind of outside noise and outside people. And number three, what it says in the article is curiosity. To be an effective learner, you have to be very curious, and there's a quote by Albert Einstein where he says, "I have no special talents. I'm only passionately curious." And I think that has been once you have the first two, you have aspiration, you have self-awareness, then you would be able to know what you are naturally curious about, and you'd be able to kind of the more you kind of find out about things, the more you want to learn. And that opens up like your long-term memory, and kind of has when you're curious, there's dopamine that's released to your brain, which kind of supports your motivation, drive, and focus. So having curiosity in certain kind of in anything kind of makes your learning a lot more effective. Um, it prepares your brain for learning, and it makes subsequent learning a lot more rewarding. The more you learn, the more you know that you don't know anything, and that's the power of curiosity. And the more you want to know. And kind of the final one is vulnerability. I know this is kind of it's kind of is not in kind of line with the other three, but I think it's also a very important aspect of effective learners. You have to put yourself in very vulnerable situations, or at least leaving your comfort zone. I think it's better put that way. You have to always leave your comfort zone to be able to learn. And there's a lot of times where where you just feel that you're not sorry, there are just messages that are coming through, so I'm just getting a bit distracted. So there's a lot of things that that when once you make yourself vulnerable, you're more kind of motivated to learn. Once you know that you don't know anything, and once you put yourself out there, it's learning by experience. There's so many times where I just I said yes to everything, even things that I wouldn't naturally want to do. Like, I used to be the kind of student at school where where I would I would hate for the teacher to pick me, or I would never put my hands up, because I didn't want to speak in front of the class. I used to be that kind of student, but now obviously, because I've put myself out there, I've done so many uncomfortable things and so many uncomfortable kind of conversations. I've been able to yeah. So I'll share the Harvard Business Review article as well. So there's so many things that I've been able to do by just putting myself out there. I think so. Yeah, I think those were the four main kind of qualities of a good learner, and I think it was it kind of summarizes it all. I'll share the link later on this chat. So coming back to you, can anyone like mention the four qualities I just mentioned? If you're just to check if you're still here. What were the four qualities of being an effective learner? Okay, Amina. Go on, Amina.
Okay, the four qualities are aspiration, self-awareness, curiosity, and vulnerability. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Perfect. Those are the ones. So we're still here. I think one thing that a tool that has kind of really helped me, and everyone uses it here, and I can't think of a person that would say they haven't used that tool. Over the years, it has really helped me learn anything or find anything that I want to learn, or anything I'm curious about. It has helped me explore a lot and learn so much. So, can anyone guess what that tool is? Everyone uses it. Phone? No, but internet, along those lines, but not quite. Yes, it's Google. Google has been kind of amazing, but a lot of people don't actually know how to maximize Google, because yes, you know how to search, and you just search random things, and things pop up. But there's actually a lot more kind of effective way of using Google that will make everything you do a lot easier, a lot more efficient, and a lot more productive. Which leads me to the second part of this, which is learning how to use Google better. The advanced searches. There are some tricks that some tricks even I still don't know how to fully use them, but they're very easy to use, especially when you're doing research, and you're trying to find things, and I found it really helpful. At the end of the day, everything you want to learn, you don't have to go to expensive universities. You don't have to pay a lot of money. Everything is on the internet, and you can get everything that you want to learn through using Google. Whether you search it the right way or you don't search it, one way or the other. But what I'm going to do now is kind of show you some tricks of Google that I think could really be beneficial to you, when you're using it next. So I think I'm gonna do a mini presentation, the PowerPoint. I mean, do you have the PowerPoint, or should I share my screen?
Please go ahead and share your screen.
Okay. Let, oh, um, apologies. Right, can you see my screen? Press 1 if you can see my screen, 2 if you can't. Okay, great. Great.
We can see your documents folder.
Okay, just the documents folder.
Yeah.
Okay, how about now? Can you see the insightful tips to help?
Yes, a presentation, yes.
Okay, great. Great. So, I know, some of you might know this already, but, there's definitely one of two things you can learn from this. So, when it comes to search, if you actually put double quotation marks, Google would actually bring the exact words that you've searched. So it's like, if you're looking for free Android apps, it's only going to show the pages that have those exact words on it. There's a lot more, so I'm going to quickly rush through it. But we're going to have like a mini activity later to practice. So if you want to search something, like for example Elon Musk, but you don't want the Musk, you just want Elon. Maybe you're looking for a different Elon, or because currently if you search Elon Musk, it's only going to show you the Elon Musk that everyone knows. But if you put the dash and minus Musk, it's not actually going to show you anything to do with Elon Musk. It's only going to show you Elon, and it's only going to show you the pages that have just Elon without the Musk. And then wildcards. If you have like, if you have, if you want to start a search and you can't remember kind of the following things, maybe the Avengers title, you don't remember, the rest of it. So you can just put the wildcards, the hash, the star, and then it's going to show you all the options from that, all the keywords related to that word. And then there's the combined searches, where it'll show you results based on two kind of factors, Apple or Samsung. And yeah, so it's either going to show you Apple results, or it's going to show you Samsung, as you can see here. And then this one, it shows you the search results, including like synonyms. As you can see, they're just little kind of symbols that you put in the search engine, but it makes it a lot more efficient and a lot more productive, when it comes to you doing your research and learning, so you can get straight to the point, because there's so much useless information out there, as well as, as much as there are, good information there. So it's just about, once you know those 4 qualities that make a good learner, you'd be able to use this tool to be able to, explore everything. And then there's a number range. If you're looking for a laptop from $300 to $500, it's only going to show you those kind of ranges. There's things that it shows you. It only show you if you put this in title URL, it's only going to show you refined results based on that URL. Only if there is Game of Thrones season 7 review on that URL, it's only going to show you results that have that on their heading or header. If not, it's not going to show you those results. There's also, you can find file types. So if you're looking for PowerPoint or documents, so you can just put this file type, DOC for Word document, PDF for a PDF file, or PTF for a PowerPoint presentation. And, it's going to come up with only results that are, that either PDF, it's only going to show you PDF files. That makes it a lot easier than, having to go to like third, fourth, fifth pages, and looking for things. And there's obviously this calculator. I think people already know this. You can convert, currencies, dollars to euro. You can put timers, and there's a lot more. Did anyone know any of this before, or is it new? Or am I just, yeah. Just one if you knew, or two if it's very new to you. Three. What's three? Okay. Very few, okay, great. At least there's a lot more to it. And that learning just how to use the search engine can really help you become a better learner online. So moving on, I think it's time for the breakout session where you just practice with the new ones that you have kind of found. The task is to find a PowerPoint presentation on learning to learn and download it. So yeah, breakout rooms. I think there will be 3 or 4 breakout rooms. Just to find, it's going to be 5 minutes exercise. So to find a PowerPoint presentation on learning to learn that you can download on your system using Google. Let's go. Hello, and welcome back.
Hello, I found a PPT of learning to learn of Coward.
Okay.
Send it to the platform.
Yeah, you can send it to, you can share it on the chat box.
All right.
So welcome back, everyone. I hope you've been able to find PowerPoint presentations on learning to learn. If you have been able to, just drop it on the chat box so everyone can, have it and download it on their own system, and hopefully, it's something that we can all go back to. So once you've found your document, please put it on the chat box. So yeah, I think that has we're at the end of this session now. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to take the questions. Just put your hands up, and you can speak or you can type it on the chat box. Thank you. Any questions, anyone? Hello, is everyone there?
Yeah, we are all here, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, no questions. Great. We're getting a lot of documents, which is good. How do you use multi-search tips? Okay. Yeah, you can use no, you basically just use space and use it. Some of them, for example, the one with the quotation mark, you can use multiple advanced searches on them, but then some of them you can only use one, such as the URL one. Yeah, you can use. You can use that. Okay, great. Thank you everyone for listening. Amina, do you have anything else to add before we close?
Hello, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed this session as much as I did. And since there are no questions, we can take a few comments. Does anyone have any comment? Any light bulb moment you'd like to share from the presentation? We still have like 7 minutes to go.
I have, excuse me, Hafiz Yaro speaking. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to find out, I know that one of my weaknesses is actually curiosity, you know, and I don't know, do you have any tips on how I could actually get to improve that?
Like I said before, I'm not really an expert in this topic. I'm merely just reading an article I found on Harvard Business Review. But I think curiosity can, as like you said, as well as it can be a strength, it can also be a weakness. But I see it as more of a strength, really, as long as you can manage that with time, and how you kind of approach your curiosity. I think it's kind of it's more of a good thing than a bad thing. I don't see it as a negative um, thing. Or if you can if you'd like to elaborate on how you think it's a weakness rather than a strength.
Yeah, what I meant is I know the importance of how curiosity goes into you being creative and also, as you mentioned, improves your learning. So I know for me personally, I'm not as curious as I feel I need to be. So I was asking if there are tips on how I could actually get to improve that, because I mean, for some people it's innate, you know.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's there
Yeah.
where I could actually learn to be curious.
Okay, I get your question now. Sorry, I don't know what I had before. But I think one way to increase your curiosity is to be doing things that you naturally enjoy. And those things that make you kind of tick, if you like. And once you have once you have that level of self-awareness, I think it brings naturally, you'd be more curious because the things that you really like, your strengths, your weaknesses, and naturally you'd start falling into that hole of wanting to find out more and more, more and more. Yeah, Musin, I hope that answers your question. By the way, I know it's a very bad answer, but that's all I can think of now. Musin has raised his hand, so yeah, you can talk, you can ask.
Hi, Hassan. So I was wondering as well about learning. There are some things that, looking at the future of work and all, you feel like you should be working to learn. There are things that skills that you should be learning. However, those might not be the skills that you aspire towards, you are curious about, and all. So, how does one balance what they want to learn versus what they're supposed to be learning?
Wow, very good question. I mean, the thing is, you need to find out, ultimately, what you know now, and what you're passionate about now. Just see how it changes within the next 5, 10 years or in the future, and then try and optimize it. It's not always about changing completely and moving on to like the trendy or the things that are growing, AI, robotics. Even though those are quite important skills to know. It's about integrating it with yourself. Again, it's all coming back to that, having a deep level of self-awareness, and knowing yourself in that regards. I hope that answers your question.
We've also had a few comments from Abdullahi. He said the session was awesome. Thank you. Abdul Latif said the session was awesome. I really learned a lot. Thank you guys. Munirat Muhammad said it was an amazing session and I've got new tips on how to carry out my research. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I really enjoyed being here, even though I think I kind of rushed a lot through my presentation. But yeah, thank you. It's been such a great honor being here and speaking on this topic. So yeah, the people have put their different findings from the chat box, so you can just download it, and you can hopefully that can that would be helpful in the future. Thank you, Mustafa.